Today I'm going to try to make Ken some boxer briefs. Do I know if this method will work? Nope. I have this piece of fabric and I have this piece that I really like on top that I'd like to keep as his upper band, and that's why I'm not going from the bottom like I'd normally do. So I'm going to try this and hopefully it'll work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn him over and I'm going to sew together, not super tight, you know, give him a little leeway, because you want these to be able to still come back down. So like just enough to get his to get the pants together. So yeah, hopefully this will work. Like I said, I've never tried it like this before, and I honestly don't know. Your guess is as good as mine if you're new to the sewing game. So what I'm doing is I want to make sure that I have enough slack in this first spot so that I could kind of knot what I did. So I'm just going through that, and there we go. So I've knotted that, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go back through a couple times just to really bind it together, just those two pieces. And like I said, I'm not going super tight because I want these to be able to go up and down on him. Alright, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to leave that loop. I'm going to go back through and I'm going to go through that little loop, and I'm going to snip it. Hopefully this works. Okay. Alright, so next move. So let's see. Let's make sure that, yeah, it's falling right and around his waist, which is about where I want to see it. And so the next thing is, so I want to have enough material to be able to go fully around him. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to sew just his rear end, just a little bit, just like from where the top of his rear end starts to the bottom, to see, just to make sure I have enough material going around. Alright, so that's what I'm gonna do next. I got this part done to like right below, right at his rear end. Didn't want to go too tight because I want it to still be able to slide down, and I also wanted enough material. So, I mean, it seems like there's a good amount of material, so I'm super psyched about this. I'm going to keep his leg really far out, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it. So, yeah, because I want it to be a boxer brief. I don't want it to be a boxer per se. So, let's see, how can I best do this? I'm gonna pin that way. Okay, and then let's see, I'm gonna pin this that way so that it'll hopefully go up the center. I'm gonna begin my sew right and around where these little white, the top of the pin goes. because I want it to be at mid-thigh, because that's usually where most boxer briefs go. So yeah, so I'm going to start right and around there, and then after I, complete all that, then I will cut. So that is going to be my method. I did the sewing up and into the inner seam, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very, very gently cut up into the crotch area. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to turn them over. Very, very gently. Cut into the crotch area without actually cutting where I sewed. Okay, so I got that part. Now, yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to sew down just a smidge lower here. Yeah, just a little bit, because it looks like it's way, way up there and I want it to be just a smidge lower. So that's what I'm going to do. I sewed a little more, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him out of his boxers, and I'm going to just look at where the line is, and I'm going to cut straight across. Now, why am I not cutting it with him in it? The reason being is because I want it to be a straight line through both sides, and I don't want his legs getting in the way. So I'm going to turn him inside out like so, and I'm going to stick him back in him. And it looks to have worked. Now the next part is to, you don't have to put this detail in, but I'm going to put it in because it's a boxer brief. Usually you sew like a piece for the guy to be able to, get his piece out to go to the bathroom. However, he's a doll, obviously, he doesn't have anything, but I want it to look like a real men's pair of boxers, or boxer briefs. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a piece of fabric that will look or act as if it's part of a boxer brief. Alright, so far here's the method. What I've done was I've laid a piece of fabric here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut like a C shape right here. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to pinch it, and then I'm going to cut a curved line. Alright, so what I did was I put two pieces together. So I cut the piece first, then I put another piece behind it. I sewed all along the outer rim, and then I just sewed, I just sewed inside, like, just to give it a sewed detail. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it right here, and I'm going to sew it up in here and along and kind of push it under there, and that will be the completion of the boxer briefs. The underwear is complete. I just sewed it while it was on him, and this part is optional. You don't have to put it on, but I'm kind of glad I did because I feel like it looks more like a men's pair of underwear. And yeah, it fits pretty well all the way around. I would do that again if I have enough material. But yeah, he's living his best life. Also, another optional thing, if you want to make your doll look more anatomically correct, You know that extra stuffing stuff? You could just stick that inside and make it look like he's actually got something in there. But yeah, that's entirely optional. Totally up to whoever's doing doll improvements. But yeah, Ken is living his best life. He's loving these boxer shorts, or these boxer briefs, I should say. And yeah, you know, hope you all enjoyed. So today I'm going to attempt to make a pair of underwear for Barbie. I measured from the point in the front all the way up to the back. That is 3.5 inches with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so it's basically 3. Then at the smallest part in the crotch area, it's a 1/2 inch. So I have this piece that I cut and I didn't realize it was a folded piece, so I'm like, oh, this is great. I got more material. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to measure, which it looks like it's exactly that 3.5, you know, disregard that extra fabric. And what I want is in the middle, which will be down in the crotch region, to be a 1/2 inch. So really, I only need about this much material. So I'm gonna do just a smidge extra. Don't have any chalk or anything like that. But for what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it in half like so. Alright. Do I know what I'm doing? No. So I'm gonna fold it in half like this. And I'm gonna measure a 1/4 inch. So about there. Okay. So I'm gonna take with my finger that piece. I'm gonna make a little cut. Alright? So that I know where it is. And the plan is to kind of curve the line this way, curve the line this way. Now, normal people would do this on paper, but I'm definitely not normal. So I'm going to try this with the pen, see if it works. It might not. Yeah, it doesn't really work with the pen. Kind of need like a contrasting something, and I don't have anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eyeball it from this point, or from this point, because this is obviously some extra fabric. I'm just going to kind of curve it. So actually, what I'm going to do is, because I know where that line is, I'm going to, knowing that I have to curve it both ways, I have it folded 4 ways. So I'm going to just eyeball curving it. Do I know if this will work? Nope. But you're coming on this journey with me. Okay, so we got that. A little there. I want to know that it's coming out to the right spot, which hopefully it is. Yeah, I might have to curve that up a little bit more. So I'm just going to cut it up a little and then curve it over like so. Now, it should hopefully make an eye. So it looks like an eye. This is perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this on my doll, and I'm going to sew with black thread through these parts to close them, and then cut off the excess fabric and see what happens. Alright, so I've pinned where I'm going to sew. So I pinned here and here, and basically I made it so that I know that all the parts of her are going to be covered. Any part that looks a little like frayed or whatever, you just clean it up in the end, but all in all, this looks good. And it's always a good idea to have a little extra fabric, because what I'm going to do with this is probably going to fold it down so that it creates a cleaner line on top. But I'm not sure yet. So for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this and see where I come in with the top. Alright, so what I'm doing now is, so I've left a little allowance at the top, if you could see that. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fold this down like so. And I'm basically sewing this on her so that it gets, you know, the perfect fit. So I'm just going to go up and down and sew this, and I'm going to do that same thing in the back, and then I'm going to clip away the excess fabric and spin it inside out. I have folded down and sewed around on the Barbie doll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away the excess fabric very, very carefully. So you don't want to cut both the part that you sewed up here and or below. So I'm just going to cut a little bit more or a little bit less than what I think, you know, and see where it goes. Looks like it needs to be sewed a little bit more in there. Right here. So a little bit here. Yeah, it looks like, well, it might be okay. I'll check it. But basically, we turn these inside out, and these will act as her new underwear. So hopefully that works. But you'll find out right there with me. Here's the completed pair. I have to say, not bad for my first time. But yeah, that was my method. So I hope you all enjoyed. It's not perfect, but it's better than I probably would have attempted a long time ago. I'm gonna try it again, but yeah, just wanted to bring you through my first time. Take care.